Hello, everyone, and welcome to my channel. This is a very exciting day, and I hope that on this very day, you're keeping it full of life, you're keeping it exciting, you're keeping it bubbling, you're keeping it going in spite of whatever is going on. Because, hey, this is life. Things will happen, stuff will go wrong, but it is your responsibility to get up every day and say, nothing whatsoever, nothing is gonna steal my joy today. Nobody, no problem, no situation, nothing anybody throws at me is gonna steal my joy because, hey, this girl is gonna always be happy, even when things are going wrong, even when my kids are not doing it right, even when it seems I can't get everything right about my parenting, even when it seems that my house just seems dull and not full of life. I say, hey, nothing is gonna steal my joy. I'm always gonna be happy because however I am, it rubs up on my kids. If they see that I'm not happy, the house is dull. So I gotta keep it happy for myself and for them. What I want to talk about today is a very critical topic, a topic that is a social issue, because this topic, a lot of parents don't feel comfortable talking about it. They feel as though, my kids are too small, they shouldn't be knowing about this kind of stuff, you shouldn't be exposing them to this kind of stuff early, or, they're my kids. I'm just so uncomfortable talking about this kind of thing with them. But hey, it's important. Talking about it is protecting your children from it.
So, Auntie, what is this topic now?
Protecting your children from sexual abuse. Here's a fact. Kids between 0 and 5 are sexually abused too. So the earlier your kids know about this, the better they can protect themselves from such situations. Talking about it with them doesn't mean, it's not a guarantee that it will not happen to them. But at least if they find themselves in that position, they know what to do. And as parents, you would have done your best in educating your kids against this kind of things. So I myself, I was a victim of sexual abuse at a young age. And I know what it felt like. I know the impact it had on me. And I know strongly that I want to protect my kids against it because I don't want them walking in those same shoes. You know how our parents always say, oh, I pray my children are better than me? Yeah, that's it. I don't want my kids to go through that same stress, trouble, dirty, unthinkable act that I went through. Here's the deal. There are crazy people out there, really crazy people. And we need to let our kids be aware. From the age of maybe 0 to about a year, 10 months, 11 months, your kids might not be able to understand stuff. They might not know what is going on. You might be telling them, oh, this is your head, shoulders, and, they don't know it. So at that age, when your kids cannot grasp what you're saying or, they can't communicate, it is our responsibilities as parents to always make sure that we're checking our kids. So I know a lot of us are working moms, working dads, and we're not probably the one giving the child the primary care day in, day out. But it is important that as a parent, you're not so far away from your child. So even if it's, I want to say at least 2 daily activities that you must be involved in your child. I want to say at least 2, but let's give it out to 1. At least every day, you should be personally responsible as a parent for one aspect of your child's daily routine. Be it feeding him, be it bathing him, be it putting him down for bed at night, being it putting him down for his nap, being it reading him a bedtime story, being it brushing his teeth, but one of his daily routine, be involved in it as a mom and as a dad. Even if you have someone taking care of your child, you should be involved in your child's daily routine. So from that age, what you want to be doing is probably checking your child, checking their bodies, checking for any abnormalities in their actions, in how they're responding to stuff, checking their private parts, checking the whole of their bodies, to make sure that everything is intact, nothing looks out of place or nothing looks weird, And as they get older, 1 year old, 15 months, 18 months, some of them begin to understand, some of them begin to speak, so start teaching them parts of their body. So head, shoulders, knees, and toes, which teach them all that. Also let them know, some kids start to get aware that, what is this down there? What is this? They start to get aware about that, so let them know that that is there. And as they get older, let them know, 3, 4, this is your private part. That's it. It's private. Let them know the names of it. It's your private part. And it belongs to you alone, not to anybody else. Nobody is allowed to touch it. Not even mommy, not even daddy. The only time mommy and daddy are allowed to touch it is when they're dressing you up or when they're giving you a bath. And even as a den, if you feel uncomfortable with it, you say stop it, because it's yours and it's yours to keep. You don't let nobody touch it. And that's how I train my child. That's how I train my 5-year-old right now. My 1-year-old is still learning the parts of his body, so we're still getting that down, But at least as at 5, they should know this is my private part. And, for me, going through that situation, it was a person in authority over me that was doing it to me. And I felt like I couldn't fight for myself. So you as a parent, being in person of authority over your children, if you give them that right, that even mommy and dad don't have a right to touch your private part except when they're bathing you or dressing you up, it makes them also know that other people in other authority, whether it be in my school, even when I'm outside, with authorities or whatever, nobody is allowed to touch my private part because it's mine and mine alone. So teach them that. Also, teach them what to communicate in case that situation happens. So what I tell my 5-year-old is, you say, no, stop it. Don't do that. If anybody is trying to touch your private part, no, stop it. Don't do that. And you come straight. I'm going to tell my mommy. You come straight to mommy and you come tell your mommy what is going on. Okay? You want to make sure your kids have the right words to respond. So teach them what to say in case they find, themselves in that situation. And also remember that you have to let them know that it's private parts. So if I have my own, every other person has their own. So you yourself should not be touching someone else's private parts. I tell my child that you should not be touching someone else's private part. Because the truth is, all those predators, that's how they start. They'll say, okay, touch my own, then they will touch your own, So tell them, you too, you should not be touching someone's private part. If someone invites you to touch their private part, you say, no, I'm not going to. And you walk away from that situation, or you run away from that situation, or you shout for help and come straight to your mommy. Let them know private parts. And also teach them what to communicate. Tell them what to say. And also make sure that they are coming to tell you, create an environment where your kids are free to talk to you. I know it's very hard sometimes because, children, they can say rubbish. Oh my God, they can blab and say all sorts of things that you yourself, sometimes you automatically go deaf to, you don't want to hear. And I know it's a struggle as parents to just keep listening to all the babble and wabble and habble, but it plays a part. Give them that attention. Let them know that they can trust you. Let them know that they are loved, because it's another psychological impact when the kids, they think that they can't talk to their parents, or even if they tell their parents, the parents will not believe them or will not even fight for them. I felt that way too, because this person was in a place of authority to me, and I felt like I couldn't fight. I couldn't say no because it was an order and I had to do it. You know, so that was one. Two, when I even now gathered, some courage to talk about it, I was told to keep short and never talk about it again. I was told to bury it up. Nobody fought for me. I was just blah, there. And that on its own is another psychological impact on the child. So even if these situations happen and your child gathers the courage to even come and tell you, first things first, thank your child. I am very proud of you for coming out to tell me this. Thank you for telling me. I believe everything you've told me, and we will work together to make this right. Assure them, give them that assurance that you were there for them. You are their parent and you would fight for them. Let them feel loved, let them feel accepted, let them feel wanted, and that in its own, it helps a lot, for them to be able to process what has happened and keep going from it, because you feel violated as a person when this happens. You feel horrible, you feel dirty, you feel, and that coupled with someone coming to tell you, just shut up, don't talk about it, don't, we mustn't hear you say that kind of, it's not appropriate. Don't do that to your kids, regardless of who it is. Don't do that to your kids. Stand for them, fight for them, be there for them. Let us also not be, as parents, be in a position to always want to protect our kids from it, that we neglect teaching our children how to behave towards it, or encouraging our kids to behave like it. So teach your children to respect other people too. Teach your children to respect people's privacy. Teach your children, when someone says no, they don't want something, they mean no. Teach them that. Teach them, and let's not divide it and say, oh, it probably only happens to girls and not to boys, or girls cannot be the one to be sexually abusing someone. That is wrong. Teach them both ways, both boys and both girls. Teach them to protect themselves and teach them not to be those people doing that kind of thing. Both boys and both girls. Truth is, I don't want my child going through this, and I know you don't want your child going through it as well. So parents, let's be on board. Let's not debunk this. Let's not say our kids are too young. Let them know their body parts. Let them know what to say. Let them know how to act if such situations happen. Let them know that it's mommy you're coming to me, or it's daddy you're coming to me when this happens. If mommy isn't comfortable talking about it with the boys, maybe daddy should. If daddy isn't comfortable talking about it with the girls, maybe mommy should. So look for how it works within your family and make sure that your children are getting the necessary training they need. Make sure you are open to listening to your kids when they have something like this to say. Make sure you are available for your children.